Welcome to the course preview videos for the 2022 Las Vegas Challenge presented by Innova Champion Discs. We'll be giving you a preview of Course Innova today and look into new changes in store for this coming Las Vegas Challenge. Let's get into it. On Course Innova, we start right in with the changes on hole 1. This 353-foot par 3 has been shortened with a new pin position that's tucked more to the right. This brings OB into play for everyone. Also, the basket sits behind the one lone pine tree you see. If you hit that tree, you'll be stuck outside of the circle for your birdie putt. Come in too high right-handed, you'll go down the hill. Come in too high left-handed, you can go OB. This is a fair opening hole, and a birdie or bogey here will set the tone for your day. Hole 2 on Course Innova is a 270-foot par 3. This hole requires a very technical shot off the tee. Low straight shot that moves slightly right to left. Keep it low, you'll get a good look at a birdie. Anything high is going to hit one of these trees, drop, leave you scrambling for par. Also, there's a new OB area tucked off to the left. This is a spectator zone, but shouldn't come into play for most people. Again, keep it low and straight, you'll have a good chance at a birdie. Innova Hole 3 is a downhill 260-foot par 3 with danger everywhere. This beautiful hole has a brand new OB line added on the right-hand side. This is going to create a spectator path to allow people to come watch the action. Now, on this hole, any drive that goes OB, be it in the water or across any OB line, goes directly to a drop zone. This drop zone sits 100 feet across the water, and while there have been some throw-ins to save par, I wouldn't recommend it. Keep it in bounds on this one. Be aggressive, go across the water, or play a little safer and hyzer around the tree. Either way can net you a look at a birdie. Good luck on this one. You're going to need it. Course Innova Hole 4 is a 377-foot par 3. Now off the tee, you're going to want to hit this gap, something low, hard, and straight. But don't go too far because there is OB right behind the basket. Now lefties can take the hyzer route over the top of the trees. However, there is a brand new OB area just to the right. This is that spectator path. If you go too far down the hill, you can skip OB, leaving yourself a long putt to save par. Again, low, straight, to the bottom of this hill, sliding up to the basket is going to leave your best opportunity for a birdie. Hole 5 on Course Innova has gone through some extensive changes this year. It has a new tee pad that's been moved back 60 feet and a challenging new pin position. Now this hole's become a 666-foot par 4 for our men, but a par 5 for the women. And we think this is going to create some exciting opportunities for that eagle in both divisions. With a big roller or turnover in our MPO field, or a great second shot for our FPO field, the eagle is definitely in play. However, the new pin sits on a treacherous hill with OB directly behind, and the green in front. We think this is going to make the double bogey in play also. So this should be an exciting hole, and we'll see how it plays this year. Good luck to all our competitors. Hole 6 on Course Innova is a 222-foot par 3 that plays from a slightly elevated tee to an island green. Now what should be an easy shot is anything but with those swirling, gusting Las Vegas winds. When you step up to this tee, you're looking at an island green where any OB goes directly to a drop zone. That drop zone sits about 45 feet from the basket, and you're putting directly at the water. So keep it low, straight, right at the basket, and you should be fine. Just don't go OB. It's as simple as that. Innova Hole 7 is a 432-foot famous par 4 that is entirely a risk reward. Remember, any drive that goes OB off the tee, be it in the water, on the green, or across the cart path, comes all the way back to a drop zone where it's not even a guaranteed par. If you're going for that eagle, your landing zone between these two hazard sand traps is only 23 feet wide. So play this smart, a birdie's in play. Be aggressive, you can get the eagle, or you can get a double bogey. Good luck to all our competitors on this hole. Hole 8 on the Innova course is a 427-foot downhill par 3 for the men, but a par 4 for our women's field. Now you're going to clear this water, start heading down the hill. The men are going to need to be aggressive, either with a lefty hyzer or right-hand turnover shot. Distance control is imperative though, because cart path and beyond is OB. Go past that cart path, you'll be scrambling to save par or your bogey. The FPO field is going to want to land in this open area right here. This will give them an easy pitch up to take their birdie, and a birdie is imperative on this hole, because this played is the easiest hole for a FPO field last year, coming in at over a third a stroke below par. Hole 9 on course Innova is a 641-foot par 4. Now off the tee, you're going to want to hit this gap, sail through it. It takes about 260 feet to get to the outside of the gap to land in the open area. Now once you're in this open area, you're going to see the brand new pin position, or brand new old pin position. This goes back to the first year that the LVC was held at Wildhorse, when the pin was up on this hill, but the tee pad was much shorter. Land in this open area, you're going to have a tricky upshot. The sand trap is more in play now. You're going to have to carry that if you're going straight at the basket, or hyzer around it if you're coming in left or with a forehand. Again, don't go too far. There is OB cart path just behind the basket. It does slip away easily. This hole should play a little more difficult than last year. Hole 10 on course Innova is a 721-foot hole that plays a par 4 for the men, par 5 for our women. Now, there's a new tee pad that's been moved to the left that's created a tunnel shot through these trees. The key here is to get out of that tunnel without tapping a tree. But don't go too far, because the tee pad is lined up directly with this hazard sand trap in front of you. A really good drive is going to end up in that hazard. Play it short, or hyzer out to the left down in the bowl. It's going to give you an opportunity to take your birdie or an eagle if you're in the FPO field. However, the basket does sit on an elevated platform on a false front. Throw too far, you're going to slide OB long past the cart path or into the hazard sand trap just behind the basket. A well-placed drive and a well-placed upshot is going to put you in good position on this hole. Hole 11 on course Innova is a 369-foot par 3 that plays to a slightly elevated pin position. Now, on your drive, you want to turn over for right-hand backhand or even a forehand. Lefties can go with the hyzer. The water you see on the right is casual, so if you land in there, take your relief. But you're going to want to stay in the dirt because anything on the grass is OB. If you end up in the grass, cart path and beyond, you're taking a penalty stroke. The tricky part about this basket is you're going to want to end up short. If you go long, the willows that hang behind are going to obstruct your comeback putt for a birdie. End up short, take your birdie putt, but don't go too long, you'll get yourself in trouble. Hole 12 on course Innova is a 396-foot challenging par 3. Danger on the right-hand side is the cart path. Anything cart path and beyond is OB. On the left-hand side, you can't see it, but just over that hill is a green. Either way, long straight driver that finishes slightly with a hyzer is going to be your best bet. Don't hyzer out too early though, you'll end up behind these trees. Also, behind the basket, it does slope away. So if you run a putt, you can end up 30-40 feet away easily. And these willows just next to the basket on the right-hand side will block most putts coming in that way. Again, long and straight, but not too long and straight. Good luck. This is a hard hole. Hole 13 on course Innova is a 387-foot hole that plays as a par 3 for the men and a par 4 for the women. There's OB all around, and your first challenge is getting inbounds by getting across this cart path here. If you can get across the cart path, in the open area, you can pitch across that hazard sand trap in front of the basket and take your par, or your birdie if you're in the FPO field. But there's OB on either side of the fairway as well. A rope line runs under these trees, and a rope line runs to the sand trap on the left-hand side. Again, land in this area, pitch across and take your par. This is one of the more challenging holes on the course, coming in as the third hardest hole last year for our MPO field. Again, good luck here. Hole 14 on course Innova is a 798-foot monster. This hole plays as a par 4 for the men and a par 5 for the women. Now your first job is to get across this cart path. While there is an inbound space in front of the cart path, once you get past the cart path and beyond is OB. There's an OB line also that runs on the right-hand side up to the sand trap. Steer clear of that. Big drives are going to put you out in this area right here, where again, you're going to have another big drive. And a choice to make. Do you lay up in front of the green or go for the basket? Remember, behind the basket is the cart path and a fence line. Beyond that is all OB, and once you get to the basket, it does slope downhill to that area. Again, if you go for it, you're going to want to possibly skip off the green to get up to the basket, to leave yourself a putt for a birdie. If not, there's no shame in laying up and taking your par. This is one of the harder holes in the course, and where Course Innova really starts to show its teeth. Course Innova Hole 15 is a 439-foot par 3. It does have a new pin position this year. It's a big turnover shot to get down to the right, or if you have the power as a lefty or a righty with the forehand, you can try to get down there as well. This is definitely a bonus birdie. But with the pin moved up, out of the bowl, it's going to be even harder to get that birdie. Before, you could throw into the bowl with the backstop and not be penalized for a bad shot. This year, if you try to run those chains, you could miss, go over the hill, and be out of bounds beyond the cart path. Again, a little more risk reward, play it safe and get your easy par, or try to be aggressive to get that birdie. Course Innova Hole 16 is a daunting 888-foot hole. Now your drive off the tee, you're going to have to hit one of two gaps that's going to put you out into the fairway. Don't go too far to the left, cart path and beyond is OB, and too far to the right there is a rope line just past the grass into the dirt. You're going to want to end up just past this big tree. That's going to put you in line to attack the basket. Now, last year this played as a par 5 for the men, but it was the easiest hole in the course, so it's been reduced to a par 4, while the FPO field is still going to play this as a par 5. Again, at this point, you can determine whether you want to go for it to try to get your birdie as an MPO player. You can either lay up in front of the green, take the par, or attack the basket. Again, you're looking at a 450-foot clear to get across that green to get up the hill to where you can putt for birdie. Flip it over too much, you can end up in the water or past the rope line that's in the trees. Again, nothing wrong with getting par here or even taking birdie. This hole played is the third hardest for the FPO field last year, and we expect it, now that it's a par 4 for the men, to be in the top 3 as well. Good luck, you're going to need it on this hole. Innova Hole 17 is a 457-foot hole that plays as a par 3 for the men and a par 4 for the women. This was the second hardest hole in the course for the MPO field, and one of the easier ones for the FPO. Definitely for the FPO field, this is a must-get birdie before heading into the last hole. Again, hyzer out on the left-hand side, you're going to go OB past that cart path. Best play is to throw straight and long, something without a lot of hyzer or turnover. So you flip it over and end up at the trees on the right-hand side, you're going to be in more trouble than you want. Also, the basket sits on a false front. It's on the back side of a hill, so if you run the putt, you can go further past the basket than you anticipate. And finally, we come to hole 18 on Course Innova, the signature 720-foot hole that's going to end your day. Now, this is the hardest hole for the MPO field last year and the second hardest hole for the FPO. The MPO plays this as a par 4, the FPO a par 5. You have some options off the tee. You can go for a big drive to land between the two bodies of water, but most people are going to play it short and land about here. Now this spot will give you about a 450-foot uphill shot to the basket. OB everywhere. Turn it over too much, cart path and beyond on the right-hand side, OB. There's a green on the left with a body of water behind the basket, that's OB as well. So even though you're pumping up a big drive, distance control is imperative. If you check below the basket, you can easily give yourself an easy uphill putt, or you can leave yourself too far out. Again, hardest hole for the men and second hardest hole for the women last year. This is a challenging hole. The tournament could come down to this one, just like it did in the FPO field last year. Well, we hope you've enjoyed the preview videos for the 2022 Las Vegas Challenge and Course Innova. We want to thank Innova Championship Discs for sponsoring the tournament, and we hope to see you all in February. And as always, good luck.